guys, it's Nurse Jay at Nursing the Truth. I hope everyone's having a great day. Thanks for stopping by again. And I made a lengthy video about how communism is creeping into America. Hopefully, we're not going to go down that road. So, anyway, what am I going to be talking about in this video? Let's talk about Osiris, Egypt, first and last, and the last shall be first, per se. You know, Christians use the title King of Kings and Lord of Lords, and this all referred to Jesus since he had ascended into the heavens. And these titles and honors occur in such modern works as Handel's Messiah. The same titles are even used in the Old Testament with Yahweh, Lord of Lords and God of Gods. So that ought to tell you that there was more than one. So these identical titles are also found in the Egyptian Book of the Dead. The King of Kings and Lord of Lords are titles to the god Osiris, the man god who overcame death, ascended into the heavens, and who now casts his rays upon men. The numerous parallels between Egyptian writings and the Bible offer important insights into our religion today. The titles, epithet, attributes show how the religious beliefs of ancient Egypt agree with those of Christianity. Of course, because Christianity, the Orthodox Christianity, took Egypt's writings as always. So they cast a different light on our religious heritage, its origins and theological ramifications. The information is useful to show how God works on our world. So it's very similar, the Egyptian and Christian belief. Now, although the Egyptian writings are greatly contaminated by later additions and perversions, they show that the people of most ancient Egypt had the true knowledge of God and the celestial realms. I do have a book by E.A. Wallace Budge called The Egyptian Religion, and you need to get that book. It explains all. The connections are far more coincidental, much beyond accident, certainly not psychological intervention or invention. Christians are mostly unaware where their writings or the nature of their sources come from, and their belief is subject to habits of mind which shunted out the reality of the heavenly realms and which ignored important elements of their foundations. In the paper it says, to show that Jesus was not a maverick, he was not a mere human mortal striving to find immortal substitutes for a finite mortal life. His human life was known long before it took place on the flowing pages of eternity. The word Christ is a title, an attribute, or a function, which, like traditions elsewhere, has become personified into a name. Much of this Christian practice is due to the Apostle Paul. We should be aware of this distinction in our use of the names, since they reflect human transformation of the divine names and titles. Christ. We are all Christs. The Messiah, or the anointed ones, was anointed with the messy oil from the crocodile, and that's where you get Messiah. Now, Osiris was called King of Kings and Lord of Lords and God of Gods. Jesus was called King of Kings in Revelation 19:16 and Yahweh, 2 Chronicles 2:5, Deuteronomy 10:17, and Daniel 2:47. So Who is it? Is it Yahweh, Jesus, or Osiris? Who's the oldest one out of the three? As a king of earthly kings, this is common interpretation. Under the view, Osiris and Jesus would be king of earthly kings, lord of tribal lords, and a god of metal, wood, and stone gods. As a king of heavenly kings and a lord of celestial lords, he is a god of gods, Psalm 82, and a god of many lords and many gods in heaven, 1 Corinthians 8:5. Ra is also called the king of heaven. Yahweh is called God of heaven in Ezra 5:11 and Nehemiah 1:5. Ra is also called the Lord of heaven. And Jesus is called Lord of heaven in 1 Corinthians 15:47. And the King of glory, Yahweh, in Psalms 24:7. There again, we have a problem. Ra, Yahweh, Jesus. And who was first? In these titles, we see that Ra is the king and lord of heaven. If Osiris is the king of heavenly kings, then Ra and Osiris are the same personality. Osiris was the human incarnation of Ra. Jesus was the human incarnation of Yahweh, they say. Ra is equivalent to Yahweh, while Osiris is equivalent to Jesus. The next text shows Ra is king and lord of the gods and confirms Ra as another name for Osiris. Khepra also appears as king and creator of the gods. Thus, we find a trinomial designation for the Egyptian god Osiris, Ra, Khepra. The Christian trinomial is Jesus, Yahweh, Michael. King of the gods, Yahweh, Psalms 95:3. Lord of the gods, Yahweh, 97:9, and Psalms 135:5. And Lord of heavenly host, Yahweh, is in numerous passages. Khepra in plate 1, line 3, was called King of Gods, and Ra in plate 19 in line 7 is called the King of Gods. In plate 7, line 14, Osiris is explicitly identified with Ra. I am yesterday, I know tomorrow. Who is this then? Yesterday is Osiris and tomorrow is Ra, on the day when he shall destroy the enemies of Net-Ekter, literally meaning Lord of entirety, and when he shall establish as prince and ruler his son Horus. These phrases are found in the biblical parallel. Jesus Christ is the same yesterday, today, and forever. Hebrew 13:8. And Yahweh, thou hast been our dwelling place in all generations, before the mountains were brought forth, or ever thou hast formed the earth and the world. From everlasting to everlasting, thou art God. Psalms 90:1 and 2. Prince of the heavens, Prince of princes is called Osiris, and Michael as well in Daniel 8:25. Osiris is called a prince, and so is Michael in Daniel 10 and 21. Osiris is also called the prince of the gods. The chief prince is Michael in Daniel 10:13, the great prince, Daniel 12:1, and the prince of angels, Revelation 12:7. So now we have a direct link between Michael, supposedly an archangel with Osiris. Previously, the parallels with Osiris were limited to Yahweh and Jesus. Archangel Michael, chief commander of angels. This opens other possibilities. Is Michael the heavenly name for Jesus? We see that Osiris is equivalent to Jesus, the one who lived as a man, died and resurrected so that we may have eternal life. And Ra is equivalent of Yahweh, the name for the personal god of the Egyptians and Hebrews. And Kephra is the equivalent of Michael, the one who is in the command of the heavens and the creator. Curiously, the name Michael is limited to the apocalyptic books of Daniel and Revelation. This name does not appear in the prophets, where Yahweh is used exclusively. The name Michael literally in Hebrew means he who is God. He is the creator. The Egyptian sources offer three views of the creator as one personality: Michael Kephra, the celestial name Jesus Osiris, the incarnate God human Yahweh Ra, the God who took the people of his planet directly under his wing and chose Israel as his special agent. So you see how they take from one into the other. There's also other books about the four angels: Michael, Uriel, and all the other El names. But did you know that the original archangels were the four sons of Horus, leading us to the four cardinal points of the world? Did a video on that, so go look that up. The Holy One is called Yahweh and Jesus, but Ra is also called the Ancient One, the Great One. The Mighty One is Osiris, and Lord of Eternity is Ra, and the Pilot of the world is Ra. Truth and righteousness. The righteousness, truth, and justice is Ma'at. And Yahweh has many of her passages. Intelligence, wisdom, knowledge, and law is Thoth. But his attributes are given to Jesus: Colossians 2:30, John 1:1-5, and Yahweh 1 Samuel 2 and 3. John used the expression logos to describe that one who was in the beginning. The word is from the Greek meaning divine reason, the controlling principle of the universe, the divine law, the right way, the upright way, the true way, the way of God the Father as he expressed himself in all and through his divine Son. This is the only way that will prevail. God the Father has a purpose and a plan. All who astray from logos shall disappear, never to be known in eternity. The rebellion against the right way led a war into heaven. But, dear truth seekers, the logos, the word, came from the Memphite theology creation, the very first creation story of the Egyptians. So don't give me this hogwash that John wrote about the Logos and the divine word, when the Egyptians knew what the word and the Logos was before Plato, Aristotle were even in existence. judgment and eternal life. Weighing in the balances, one who weighs righteousness is Thoth, but they've got that attributed to Yahweh in Isaiah 26:7. Yahweh, you can't hold a candle to my Thoth. How can you be truth, justice, and righteousness when you slaughtered thousands? You're despicable. And resurrection is promised by Ra, but the attributes are given to Jesus in John 11:25. Eternal life by Ra, but is given the attributes to Jesus in John 5:24. Which is it, truth seekers? Ra, Osiris, Thoth, Ma'at versus Yahweh and Jesus. I hope you've enjoyed this enlightening video. I hope you continue to search for the truth. I hope you continue to dig for answers. Let your soul speak to your spirit and your spirit to your soul. Until next time, Hotep and Ashe, and we'll see you next time.